So, you want it? I'm just asking because I know what you're like if I don't ask. You want it?
Yes, I would like it.
You don't have to have it.
I would like to have it.
Well, take it then.
The first half. Just saying.
I really thought it was a great glimpse of the human condition because most people don't. I have a lot of loss in my family, and most people don't know what to do with that. And so you're in this situation where you're at a funeral and it's terribly uncomfortable anyway, and you're not sure what to talk about, so you talk about the food. That's always, like, human beings talk about food when you're given the chance, right? And then stuff. I mean, those are just the things like we naturally migrate to as human beings. I thought that was captured so well. And you could get the sense of the discomfort, and the son is like, oh, my mom, she just has these annoyances, and and she's missing her husband, and he had this shed, and apparently it was full of things that she had to get rid of immediately. And he had this discomfort about talking about his wife and the situation. I thought it was really well played, that it was so uncomfortable for both of them, and she was in pain, and she didn't know what else to do except talk.
I just thought it was a great film in the sense that it used humor at a time where you're not thought that humor would, it's used humor to deal with the pain of the loss in a way that we don't normally think, it's not a time to be laughing. This is a funeral, for God's sake, right? You should be more somber and, but it was really well done. And the way the story unfolded, so you got to know a little bit more about the mother and who she was and why she was doing this to her son, instead of her just being an annoying mom. Right, there was a depth to her and more to what she was feeling and why she was trying to talk to her son about talking to his wife. So I just enjoyed the humor of it, and I love the British humor. I'm BBC all the way, yes. So it was intelligent humor, and yes, it does take a little bit of paying attention to and listening to it. So I really enjoyed it.
I thought the dialogue was perfect because Ross, when you wrote it, yes, please, because it was paced so beautifully, evenly. And right when it felt a little too long, there was a joke, or there was a play with the son. The build-up was beautiful, and the fact that you used her personality to kind of distract you and pull you one way, and you thought it was about her being a mother, and the fact that there was layers, and that the son was taking everything so surfacey and was more like, don't bother me, leave me alone, she doesn't deserve me, and her mother, who we thought was crazy and just out of her mind, kind of brought it back together and made it. Though she picked out the little things, it was deeper than that. Everything felt just more deeper. So
I'm fortunate enough I was raised on a lot of BBC, so I understand the English way of doing things is a little bit more subtle and a little bit more low key with what we're talking about. But the thing that I really liked was for a static film, they revealed the story and it was like, oh, here's a little tidbit and here's a little tidbit, and then you started to really understand the relationship. And the moment that really got to me was when she says, call, that moment where they're at the climax, and she's like, no, call because you can. And her husband, she can't talk to him because he's passed. So that was like, oh wow, pretty heavy. But yeah, so in a way, I thought it was very effective in that way.
It required a lot of patient viewership, which I liked, and it just, in general, what I noticed mostly was the food. The role of the food really helped to kind of, it added to the story, and it kind of added to the length, and it added to the structure of the whole piece with just what was happening in the food. And obviously also with the subtlety of, the more of that UK kind of humor. It was a really good black comedy. But I think that it was also the moments of silence without the score. I think that was a really good choice too, so we could kind of really focus on what was happening. And I don't know, I thought it was a very complete story from beginning to end, and I understood, what was going on. And like he had mentioned, that climax, that was really poignant, and it you know, it's something you remember that moment.
Yeah, I think the third one has 3 layers in it. I know there's food, there's mention of, every time you mention food, right? I mean, there has to be something about the food, you know, why there's, what's the concept about it. I think it's there's some parallelism that's going on there. The mother mentioned about get some food. I don't want to get food before it gets, you know, before they all consume it. You know, so it's I think it's something about, you know, taking advantage of the you know, of the time of, you know, if it's there, all the should have, could have, because, you know, you'll never know when the food is, you know, is out, and you'll never know when the person that you love and you know, you want to say something to the person is gone. So that's I think that's the parallelism about it. Her husband dying, and her son's you know, relationship with his wife that's on the rocks, that maybe you should try to, you know, take advantage of the time when you can still have, you know, you can still say that, you know, that you love your wife, and stuff, you know, stuff like that.
If you were to close your eyes and just listen to it, first of all, I'm an audio guy, so I'm keyed into a lot of different things with that. My specialty is with editing and mixing. First of all, if you were to close your eyes and just listen to it, you couldn't tell even what the environment is that they're in. They're in a restaurant. No sounds of the restaurant. And then the other big thing that I had with it is that if you were to, the other major thing is that from the perspective of where the camera is to wherever the person was speaking, everything was coming down center. There was no, it's coming from the left, it's coming from the right, it's coming from off camera. And when you're listening, one of the big things that makes movies an immersive experience is that if you hear a sound effect that's coming from off screen, is coming towards the middle, and it doesn't sound like that, that's half the experience that you're missing. And so when a person is doing the soundtrack work, one thing that they need to do, and this is hopefully giving some constructive criticism, is that they need to be much more careful with both the editing, what is the environment, and what is the perspective of where the people are, because there was nothing as far as the perspective of where the person is talking from, and you would not have been able to tell if you had closed your eyes. You couldn't tell what side of the table they're talking from.
But what I liked was the ambiguity of the setting, where they are. So you start to look around at the people there, lots of black going on, and you got this, you know, strange conversation going on. I loved that part. I thought it was good, the use of time. You really felt like you were there in this place. But, you know, I didn't realize, you know, that the sound had anything to do with that. But, you know, it does play into it.